I think a two-state solution sounds great if you don't actually live in reality. Let me tell you what reality is. The Arabs don't want to govern their own people. They would rather hate Jews. Every day they're saying death to the Jews, kill the Jews. They do not want to govern their own people.
This is Charlie Kirk talking to a radical anti-Israel individual, and I think that what you need to see is the way that Charlie debunks and puts this individual in his place just by facts, not by emotion. And I've been saying since the beginning of this war that many people who are against Israel are overly emotional and underly informed. And this is what it looks like live and direct.
I'm a proud member of the Young Democratic Socialists of America on campus. I'm expecting boos from that. I don't mind.
No, you're around conservatives, so...
Also, for the record, not that it matters, but if I were to host an event on campus, I'd be more than happy to have people disagree with me to come first. Unfortunately, I do not get to host events. I wish. First off, I wanted to just make a small factual correction to something that you said, which is about the 130 migrants on the terror list that have crossed the border. The actual number is 160, and those were numbers that had been stopped at the border, meaning they were prevented from entering, which means that these people were stopped during the Biden administration.
Right. So you're not exactly strengthening your argument. It's actually higher, thank you. And so how many gotaways have there been at the border this year?
Say that again, sorry?
Gotaways, people that weren't tracked that we don't know that came into the interior?
Unfortunately, that's kind of hard to track, as you said. However, that's actually, I just wanted to...
Yeah, it's about 500,000 minimum.
Wow, okay. I just wanted to give you that number, though, just so that you're aware. But that's actually not my question. My point, I guess. My point was about Palestine. You mentioned
what country?
Palestine.
Is that? Oh, okay, where is that?
In the Middle East.
Wait, is it in Judea and Samaria?
I'm sorry, say that again. I can't hear you.
What country are you talking about?
Palestine.
It exists?
Yes.
Oh.
In fact, it existed before current Israel.
Oh, really?
Yes.
According to who?
According to history books.
Oh, okay. So wait, you mean Judea and Samaria, the rightful homeland of the Jews that they call the West Bank and they're currently occupying?
If you're going by religion, sure. I personally don't go by religion.
Oh, what do you go by then? Where the Arabs want to occupy?
Logic.
Oh, really?
History.
So whose is Gaza?
Gaza is a location. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call and I don't want that to interfere in the mic. Gaza's location within Palestine. But I'd like to go on to my point, if you will. Currently, Israel is actually being labeled by international human rights organizations such as Amnesty International as an apartheid state because they are attacking many people from within Palestine, and they have been the land has been stolen from Palestine. Not to say that the people in Israel do not deserve their own land. I am a believer in a two-state solution, and I want to make that clear. And I also want to make clear that I do not agree with the recent incidents because there is no excuse for harming civilians. However, I do want to make
You're morally clear on that. Good.
Thank you. I do want to make clear that also Israel has captured more than 228 Palestinian children in which they held in containment, and of these, 86% were beaten. Oh, and these were, by the way, the 220 is only those that were able to be surveyed, so they were recovered. The 86% of those were beaten in detention, 69% were strip searched, and 42% were injured at the point of arrest. Additionally, I would like to add, due to your claim about dictators, that Benjamin Netanyahu has been in power since 2009, and he also held in power from 1996 to 1999. So you can argue that
there's actually a moment when he wasn't prime minister.
That's why I said
Naftali Bennett was actually, and he's duly elected. When was the last time Abbas won an election?
Say that again?
When was the last time Mahmoud Abbas won an election?
That I do currently not have.
Yeah, 8 years. They don't hold elections because they're under a dictatorship. I'm just curious because I want to try to find some clarity more than agreement because we're not going to find agreement. If Israel stopped fighting, what would happen? If they laid down all their guns tomorrow, what would happen?
Personally, I can't say. I'm not in charge of any of the leadership.
Yes, so all the Jews would be killed. If Hamas laid down...
It's not about Judaism, though.
If
Israel's actually the ones that have taken Palestine's land.
Okay, again, I'm just trying to find some moral clarity. If Hamas laid down all of their weapons, what would we have?
There would be no more Palestine.
Peace is what we would have.
No, that's...
We would have peace.
Excuse my language, but that's bullshit. And
okay, so let me ask this. Why did Israel give Gaza back to the Arab Muslims? For peace. Why did they give the Sinai to Egypt? For peace.
Why did they throw missiles over there?
No, hold on a second. Why did they give the Sinai to Egypt? For peace. Why did they give the Gaza Strip to the Palestinian Authority for peace. In Hamas's charter, what does it say?
I'm not defending Hamas.
Well, hold on a second.
Right.
You're defending the Palestinian Authority, which is partners with Hamas, and they duly elected them.
No.
How is Hamas's charter any different than Nazi Germany's charter towards the Jews?
I'm not defending any of that. And for one,
so what are you defending?
Hold on.
Exactly.
For one, I'm defending the right of Palestine to exist, which I want to clarify. I am not telling you that you're being Islamophobic by supporting Israel. I'm not telling you that you want to kill the Muslims. So trying to say that the existence of Palestine
here's a fact. Let me tell you. I think this last
ridiculous.
weekend displayed the holes in your argument. When Jews go for their high holy day, Arabs come in and kill Jews. When Arabs want to have peace, the Jews will come to the table for a peace agreement. Abraham Accords, the Oslo Accords. Any time that the Arabs want to talk, the Jews will come to the table to talk in the pursuit of peace. Meanwhile, this weekend, in a slight vulnerability, what happened? Jews are celebrating the end of Yom Kippur, the reading of the Torah, and they come in and they kill 900 Jews. And answer me this. If this was an isolated incident, why were they greeted as heroes by the people of Gaza after they killed 900 women and children?
I want to make this clear once more because you seem to not be understanding. I am not defending these actions. I am simply refuting the claims that you made earlier in this argument.
Here's the thing. I think a two-state solution sounds great if you don't actually live in reality. Let me tell you what reality is. The Arabs don't want to govern their own people. They would rather hate Jews. Every day they're saying death to the Jews, kill the Jews. They do not want to govern their own people. There is no middle ground when they're screaming to the sky for Intifada. Israel has been at the table time and time again. Do you agree? Abraham Accords, trying to find peace, trying to sit down with Mahmoud Abbas.
The Israelites have hundreds of
Yasser
Palestinian
Arafat?
children in detention. They have sent missiles to Palestine and killed hundreds of civilians. After this event, Netanyahu declared that he will send missiles to Palestine in an area where the Palestinian civilians are not able to leave.
Wait, hold on a second. You mean to Gaza?
Yes.
Right, where they actually gave warnings to apartment buildings. What kind of
They
Israel's
can't
so
leave
bad
Gaza.
that they tell
They
people
wanna
to
vote.
leave before they bomb them. Hamas comes on a holy day into kibbutzes and cuts women's heads off at concerts. The moral equivalence is so different. And let me just ask you, what do you think is a bigger impediment to peace, Hamas or Israel?
If you would like, I'd prefer if you could stop interrupting me.
Well, I'm the speaker, you're not. So let me just remind you, you're a college kid, you came to our event. So let me just ask you a very clear question. Bigger impediment to peace, Palestinian Authority or Israel?
Israel.
Prove it.
Israel.
Tell me one situation where Israel has not come to the table. Israel has given up land. When was the last time the Palestinian Authority willingly gave up land for peace?
Israel's bombing
Never,
the land
because they don't want peace. They want dead Jews. And we as Americans should never put up with the intentional extermination of Jews again in our country. Thanks for being here. Thank
Israel.
you. Thank you. We're going to the next question.
Argue that when you have these debates,
We're going to the next question. Thank you.
About race.
Thank
so
you.
Why is it about it there?
We're going to take the next question. Thank you. Thank you. That is.
It's really. Whew, I have goosebumps and chills just watching that video because I've been saying this for so long. How many times historically has Israel come to the table? And I will absolutely include 1948. 1948. The UN partition was a way for us to establish some sort of peace. South Africa was one of the countries who voted in favor of the UN partition. And of course, today they're trying to basically claim that Israel is committing a genocide, et cetera, et cetera. Things change. But 1948, they tried to. Abraham Accords, Oslo, leaving the Gaza Strip in 2005. How many times does Israel need to come up with a plan with its neighbors? They gave Sinai back to Egypt in 1978. For peace. They left the Gaza Strip in 2005, 2006 for peace. They are giving land for peace. This is why they don't have an issue with Egypt. Israel has offered so many times, but the expectation for Israel to say, you know what, we'll pack our bags, we'll just hop on another set of boats, and we'll go to some other country that maybe will let us establish our homeland. No, what's the expectation? People are saying just go to Europe, maybe go to Africa. What are you talking about? Why would we go somewhere else that isn't our indigenous homeland? There's no logic to that. The reason that we're here, it's because it has been ours since the beginning of time. It is our ancestral homeland. It is our indigenous homeland. We have nowhere else to go, and we don't want anywhere else to go. If we wanted somewhere else to go, we would go there. But that wouldn't be okay if we just moved another group of people out who were there before us. But that's not the case in the Middle East. People have a hard time with that concept because they don't want Jews to have their own home, and they have been taught that they shouldn't have their own home, which is the core roots of anti-Semitism, which is why we see more of it today. And if it wasn't about the Jews, why do you have people across the world asking for the annihilation of Jews? Why do you have Jewish students being stopped on college campus on their way to class, across the quad, going to lunch, being blockaded? What does Tommy, the 19-year-old at Columbia, who's a Jew, have anything to do with the Middle Eastern conflict 5,500 miles away across the ocean in Israel? What is his connection? What did he do? He came from algebra class. But it's not about the Jews. It's not about the Jewish institutions in America that keep getting threats. It's not about them. It's not about the signs that say death to Jews. It's not about the signs that says no Yehud, no Jews, death to Yehud in Arabic. It's not about that, but it's about Israel. Pick a side of the fence. You cannot have both. Thank you so much for all your support. Stick around for one more thing. If you want to continue the conversation, you can support my work for free. Discord does not cost a thing. It is the best way to connect with me and others who are seeking the truth. The link is in the description. But if you want to take it one step further, my Patreon gives you access to the Israel you don't see, uncovering the untold stories of what mainstream media does not show you. The link is in the description, and it helps me to continue this work. Or if you're just looking to help this thing go, PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee is a really easy way to support me. This channel, this work does not happen without all of you. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you next time.